It's Tavis Liberty coming live and direct to you again from Liberty Investing. Today, for the very first time, I'll be introducing you to my crypto holdings. And this is a very key moment for me because I've never done so before. And during the process of me preparing the material for you today, I got to see a few interesting things about my own crypto holdings. So I thought that was very interesting, and I'm happy to be bringing that to you today. Okay, so I'm going to be introducing you to some of the reasons why I personally hold cryptocurrencies, and I'll be also going through some of the negative or some of the downsides about holding cryptocurrencies. Okay, and then I'll top it off by showing you a visualization that I put together. I found it very interesting to see, and I'll be just showing you those as well. Here you can see I put together some reasons I personally, and I put the term HODL, crypto assets. So HODL is a term they use to differentiate between holding crypto assets versus other assets. So I personally hold cryptocurrency because of the blockchain technology they're built on. So the most important part of the whole value proposition, one of them for me personally, is the blockchain technology. I've spoken about this in other videos, and I'd probably add a link here so you can click if you want to find out more information about where I speak about blockchain technology. And also, I personally believe that we're currently in a some people call it an inflection point of the early adoption of cryptocurrency, and that will give you a huge advantage because of the great mass of potential upside. They also built on a decentralized system as another one that I like, and this is for me very important because once you start introducing people to a decentralized system, you then take out the middleman from the equation. And again, I spoke about this in another video, so I won't get too much into it. So I'll leave some of these elaborations for another video. But if you can imagine removing the middleman from a lot of things that you have to carry out, say transactions, you can go directly to the supplier, and it's always a good idea, especially from the point of view of security of your own data, privacy, all these things that introduce cost reduction as well. All these things greatly become less important and becomes much better and more efficient for the end user. Okay, so next one I have mass adoption by big financial institutions. So one of the things that I saw recently was that there were, I think it was about German financial institution, German banks specifically, that were really looking at how they can integrate some of the crypto offerings on their platforms. And I think a few banks in the US are doing this, a few banks in the UK and in Europe in general are looking to integrate that. Banks in different parts of the world have already done so, and I spoke about the mass adoption on a unique level from the African continent, and I'll, in that same video, will introduce you to that idea as well, some of the things I spoke about. The mass adoption from the big financial institutions will lead more confidence in that area, and you'll get even more adoption being driven by not only financial institutions from there on, but by all sorts of other institutions too. So it's a really positive thing to see in that space. And next one on the list is the entire ecosystem being built on the technology. And the technology I'm referring to again is the blockchain technology. And what you're getting is, as opposed to just a single solution, you are now getting end-to-end solutions being provided. And that's one of the reasons I love Ethereum as an example, because they have a whole ecosystem built on top of the Ethereum blockchain. So you do not only get the cryptocurrency from it, but you also get all those additive services that they offer. And the key thing to remember here is that the cryptocurrencies themselves are just an additional value proposition from the protocols being used by the blockchain, the specific blockchain technology. Okay, so that's one of the things I really love. So if I can give you a quick example, the Ethereum platform offers developers to build out applications, say like if it's a gaming, a metaverse. They can also offer the digital currencies and some other end-to-end secure services as well on top of that. So it allows you to get that much more flexibility. And the potential to aid disruption is a unique one. I briefly introduced some of those points from previous points I've made, and I do believe that cryptocurrency, say in the space of healthcare and education, some of these large sectors that haven't evolved as much as other spaces, but the advantages that these technologies are bringing will just end up again eradicating the need for the middleman taking your products and services directly to the customer as an end-to-end an endpoint to an endpoint sort of connection, and really deliver value to customers, a reduction of costs, and all these things, the ability to innovate more rapidly because you introduce less friction, so it becomes more and more efficient, and that often leads to, those often add to the basket of ingredients that will lead to disruptive nature in different companies. Okay, so mainstream media portrayal, and you can really see this one play out in what we've heard about cryptocurrencies so far for the year and for last year as well. During the pandemic, we really heard a lot of negative feedback on what people believe cryptocurrencies are, and the media leading you to believe that there's a huge, say, lack of understanding of retail investors and other institutions. The media believes they lack that knowledge and understanding of what the technology is, but that goes into a bigger driving point to show you the importance now of the technology, that it's even been spoken about in the first place, and people are more exposed to it, and therefore that will probably lead them on to trying to learn more about the technology. And the last one on the list is government wants to regulate. Okay, so government wants absolute control over cryptocurrency because they feel so threatened now by what cryptocurrency is going to do to fiat currencies in the future, because when people realize how much they're being ripped off by the fiat currencies and how different political affiliations, different political climates can often affect the valuation of your currency. And we saw what happened during the pandemic, how many trillions of dollars they printed in the US, and how many billions of dollars they printed, pounds and euros they printed in Europe and the United Kingdom. And it just goes to show you that there's going to be an effect coming from all of that. Yes, it was good to bail people out, but there are consequences to pay for those actions. And the fact that governments are trying to regulate cryptocurrency now gives it even more validation, because why would you bother to regulate something that isn't even relevant? Okay, you wouldn't spend that much time and effort to try to regulate and clamp down on that thing now. So that gives me a great deal of confidence that this thing called cryptocurrency is becoming more and more important to governing bodies. So what they really need to do is just embrace the change and allow it to happen. Regulation is good. I don't want you to think it's bad. Regulation is good, but over regulation, unnecessary regulation can cause friction, and people will retaliate if too much friction occurs. Okay, so we can now move to the next slide, where I'll be talking about some of the negatives, some of the downsides of owning cryptocurrencies. Okay, and the first one I chose on my list is volatility. Now, volatility is very important for people to understand, and it becomes even more important when people buy into something that they really did not take the time to learn and appreciate on a deeper level. Okay, so with all the volatility, it can cause people to definitely pull their money out of the market at a huge loss, right? So some people might get lucky, and others might come in at the wrong time and feel they can go in and make a lot of money just by taking advice from someone without doing their own research. And this is usually a recipe for disaster in volatile entities and volatile markets. Okay, so that's one of the big downsides that you need to be aware of if you own cryptocurrency. Because it's such an early phase, volatility is to be expected. Okay, it's part of the whole process of getting to greater value. And the second point ties into the first one. The cryptocurrency space is currently rife with speculation, people speculating on something becoming a boom or bust, and it can often lead to huge losses if they truly do not understand what they're dealing with. And speculation is as old as mankind. It's one of the habits that we have innate inside of us, to speculate for something going positively or something going negatively, but mostly we're a bit more optimistic than we should be in a lot of cases. Okay, and third one on the list, buying without doing any research. I mentioned some points about that in the previous 2 points that I made, and it's very important. It's absolutely important, absolutely key that you do your research before you get into anything. I always want to stress that point. Coin storage. This is probably just as important as anything else you'll come across. It is very important to understand where you're storing your coins, because if they get lost, that's it. They're gone. There's several scenarios where people have lost hard drives that they had these cryptocurrencies stored on, memory sticks, or even something as simple as forgetting the password to your crypto wallet. It's very important to lock these things away in a vault in some way. If you can back your passwords up in some way with a master password, it's crucial for you to remember to always do that. Otherwise you're going to lose a lot. It's not widely adapted at the moment, so we're not able to, or at least I'm not able to, just take my cryptocurrency and buy a good or service as simply as I would with a fiat currency. So it just makes it a little bit more challenging for someone to understand why they should be holding or owning any form of cryptocurrency if the world isn't ready for it yet. And I personally find that there are too many options. There are just too many different types of cryptocurrencies, and I'll tie it in with the last point that I have there. And with having too many options, you then introduce the world to having fakes. And what I mean by this is people creating cryptocurrencies and pumping them, overhyping them, and then leaving people to hold the bag. And those people who get left behind holding the bag end up getting hurt really badly, because they've seen huge climbs in the market capitalization or the value of that cryptocurrency, and over a short period of time, and they get excited about it, they buy into it, and then what happens is comes crashing down when people realize there's no intrinsic value, there's no added value by that specific cryptocurrency. So you need to be very aware of that one. Okay, so that's the downsides. I want to close that one out so I can move on quickly to the visualizations I put together. So these are two. I have a pie chart on the left hand side which showing you the different percentages of the various cryptocurrencies that I hold. And here you can see that Bitcoin and Ethereum almost evenly split. And the way I have them split is for a very specific reason, and that is based on the added value I believe that these specific crypto holdings will add to my portfolio of assets. Okay, so Bitcoin, you can see, has a 34% value on my portfolio. So it shows you that is my largest holding. And before I put together this visualization, I really had no idea what percentage I have in various portfolios, because I choose to use different platforms. I have account with Bittrex, Bitpanda, eToro, and Binance. So they're all in different portfolios, but it was good for me to collate the numbers and really get to see it in visualizations to understand my portfolio. Okay, so Bitcoin I personally feel has very good value. It's currently being used as a store of value, especially because it's so much more secure than any other cryptocurrency, and it's definitely the most popular, the most well known. And second largest cryptocurrency is Ethereum. Okay, and Ethereum, in my opinion, has the most added value in terms of what their platform is able to offer. And with Ethereum 2.0 coming out, they're really continuously thinking about different ways they can innovate and bring mass adaptation to their platform. Next up we have Cardano, and that's another one I really love because of what they're doing in developing countries, say like in Africa. I think the work that Cardano is doing is really going to show us how we can add value in developing countries, developing continents, whatever. There are partnerships between Ethiopia and the Cardano network. I can't remember what the body is called, but they're really doing some exciting, interesting things. And in that same video that I mentioned earlier, which I'll link here again, we'll talk to some of the different ideas on what blockchain technology is doing for the various spaces and various industries. Next up is Dogecoin. So one day I was playing around with Dogecoin and I just decided that I wanted to be in on the joke. So I didn't really buy it as a serious thing, and I wouldn't really recommend others to do the same thing, because you should never really speculate or use your hard-earned money to buy into something that you really do not believe in. Anyway, so I bought some Dogecoin, a few hundred Dogecoin, and that blew up to a larger point than I expected it to, and it just ended up being one of my largest holdings, 9% of my entire crypto holdings. Not much to say there. And Acoin is personally one of my favorite, because I bought into it as an early adapter when they were before they even launched their cryptocurrency. And the value that I believe I'm going to get from it in the future is that Acoin is building out 2 cities, one in Senegal, and I cannot remember where the other one is being built. It might be in Uganda or Ghana. But anyways, there are two cities that Acoin is building, and the technology, the currency or the blockchain on which the platforms will be built around, the entire city will be built around the Acoin platform. So they'll be offering NFTs and cryptocurrencies and some other services as well. So that's very good value. It's only available on Bittrex at the moment. So that's one thing to note. And the last one, Ripple, XRP. I believe Ripple has a lot of potential because of the way institutions have already adopted it to be used to send money back and forth between institutions and between persons, individuals. But I do have a worry about the Ripple platform, and that is because it is tied to a single entity. It sort of leads me away from the whole advantage of these technologies being decentralized. Okay, so that's one of the worries I have about Ripple, and with most other cryptocurrencies, that's exactly what you're getting at the moment. It's not like Bitcoin, where nobody knows the real owner of Bitcoin, the people who created it. I mean, nobody really knows and understands who created it. And the blockchain technology is owned by the people. It's owned by the people who develop it, and it's open source and all of these things. So anyone can get access to the source code and be able to fork off it and make different versions of the Bitcoin technology. So there you go. And just next to that, I have a bar chart that just shows it in a different way, a different visualization for it, but it effectively shows exactly what my holdings look like. So I just find these visualizations helpful to me to understand how much of a particular cryptocurrency I hold. Okay, so thanks for watching. It's Taviz Liberty, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you enjoyed this video and you have any other type of video that you'd like me to do, please let me know. Feel free to drop a comment, let me know what types of cryptocurrency you hold, what you like or don't like about specific cryptocurrencies. Ask me any question about my own holdings of cryptocurrency and the value I see about very specific cryptocurrencies and what they can do for me in the future. Yeah, just let me know. Feel free to subscribe. Click the notification bell as well if you want to get notified every time I drop a video. But yeah, it's Tavis Livity again. I enjoyed doing this video for you. From Livity Investing, Tavis Livity out.